So today's the second day on brushes, and today we're going to work with a type of brush called an art brush. So an art brush basically takes exactly the vector or the shape you create and stretches it along a path. Now you might be like, why would that be helpful? Well, a lot of times what it allows you to do is create different variations of that vector in different thicknesses and lengths. So you can create things like planters, wings, fur, hair. It's actually really beneficial. So let's start off with our check for understanding. We're going to open up our brushes panel because we're always going to need that now. On the side, we're going to activate the leaf that I've given you, make a new brush, and this time we're going to hit art brush. Okay, I'm going to press OK, and then I'm going to match the settings on the screenshot provided. So I want it to scale proportionately. I want it to go up and down this way, and everything else looks pretty good. Now I'm going to press OK. That leaf should be saved here. I want to deselect because I don't need that leaf anymore. And I'm going to take my paintbrush and I'm going to paint at least 10 leaves into this pot. So I'm just going to start by dragging. My leaves are going to be like on top of it until I make the pot go to the back. But I'm just going to draw some leaves here. And the further I draw, the longer the leaf's going to be. So it can create some variation. Right? I'm not going to get too crazy because if I do crazy lines like this, my leaf will stretch along that and I'll get something that looks really wonky. So I just want to do straight or slightly curved paths. And I'm going to take my planter and just bring it to the front. And I can kind of arrange things afterwards and rotate them because they're paths. But now it looks like I spent so much time making all these leaves and it's the same leaf just stretched along different paths. Okay? Now, for your main activity today, you are going to create a art brush of this feather. So the feather has been created for you. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to make a new brush, hit art brush, and you're going to match these settings here that I've provided. Now the next thing I want to do is create the wings. So what I've given you here with these little numbers and these drawings is an idea of how to create this wing specifically. So for example, 0.25 stands for the stroke of your brush. So I'm going to take my paintbrush, I'm going to activate my feather, but I'm going to make sure I set this to 0.25. And I'm just going to draw these little lines as best I can. Just trace over. Alright, then I'm going to do the next one at the next thickness. So this needs to be 0.5, so they're just a little thicker, and just trace these. And basically, little by little, I'm going to kind of build this wing. If you feel like it's still, like the numbers are a little off because I've shrunk this file a few times just for saving purposes, I can select all of these and make them even thinner if I just don't like how thick it looks. I think that actually looks a little better. I'm going to make these even thinner. So the numbers are just a reference. I like that size better. And I'm basically going to build the pink, the blue, the green, the yellow, and then overlap them on one another until the wing looks something like this. You have a little bit of freedom here, so if these confuse you, you can always like use the picture as a reference. Now once you make one wing, you're going to group it, copy and paste it, and then you're going to reflect it. So that's the last part here where you see this guy, he's missing his wings. So if you put the left wing and the right wing, he will look like an angel. Just make sure the wings are behind the character. If you get to finish early, I've created some leaves here, some plants where you can kind of do what you did for the check for understanding and create a whole bunch of different plants with your art brush.